What is going on, everybody? We are fresh off of AEW Dynamite tonight, you guys. We had a solid show tonight. Nothing too special. This isn't another one of their big named editions of Dynamite, but we had a very solid card tonight. Pretty satisfied. It was a little bit of a mixed bag from hour 1 to hour 2, and we will get into all of that here tonight. So I just want to say thank you to anybody that's tuning in live. And for anybody that's catching the replay, I definitely thank you for giving me your time. But nonetheless, man, let's get into it. I don't want to hold you guys long. We opened up match 1 with Dax Harwood versus CM Punk. Very solid match from the start. It's exactly what you expect from a member of FTR, along with the veteranship of CM Punk himself. It was good to have him back finally after Revolution. It's been about, 3 weeks now that we haven't seen CM Punk. I thought that he would just come out with a little promo, but we actually got a match, and I was pretty satisfied with this opening match. It did everything it needed to do within that 15-minute time span that it had. We also saw the Ass Boys, the Gun Club. They had front row tickets to this one. I was a little bit, kind of feeling like what's going on here with these guys. I figured it had to be something to do with FTR, but it seemed a little soon because we know FTR's got a match coming up outside of the organization, if you want to call it that, with the Briscoes coming up real soon. So it's kind of weird to see them already in another spot here in AEW going up against the Gun Club, which got announced for next week. It'll be FTR and Gun Club going at it. So that was a little strange. I'm not understanding how Gun Club keeps getting the bit of the spotlight, but I sort of get it, but I don't because I'm not quite into them. But maybe some people are, but I'm not. But anyways, let's get back to this match, you guys. We got Punk taking the win. He set an anaconda device on Dax Harwood a little bit earlier. Didn't get the tap, but he tried it again on the second time and got the tap. This was a very good, solid 15-minute match. Did exactly what it needed to do to start off really hot. The crowd was really into it from the jump with CM Punk. Continued through the match. So it was a very good feeling. Start off very hot with this show because we know, unfortunately, AEW Dynamite can be a mixed bag from week to week. We see very good ones, and then we see some mediocre shows from them. And it seems like every time it's mediocre and the viewership seems to go down, next thing we know, we see a titled show from Tony Khan. So it was very good to start this one off pretty solid with match number 1. Coming up next, we had Jericho Appreciation Society with a backstage promo highlighting their match tonight, which was tonight's main event. So that was pretty cool. It got us, typically what we see from most wrestler federations, we see the main event getting set up first thing as the show starts. So it was good to see a match first and then see that little bit of a promo from Jericho Appreciation Society, the sports entertainers, not the wrestlers. So I was pretty cool with that little backstage segment. It was about 30-45 seconds long, and it gave Daniel Daniel Garcia a little bit of time to get a little promo, push his name out there. So that was pretty cool as well. So going into the next match, which probably should have been tonight's main event, probably one of the best matches of the night, we had Sting, Darby Allin, and the Hardy Boys, who came out with a super huge pop. The crowd was more excited this week to see the Hardy Boys as opposed to that San Antonio crowd from last week. So that was pretty cool to see the huge pop for Matt and Jeff Hardy this week, because I thought after seeing the ratings last week drop for that match, people were not very entertained by that segment. So it was good to see that they got a loud pop again this week. They went up against Private Party and Butcher and the Blade with Andrade in the back. This was a tag team tornado match, and man, was it spot heavy. We seen some awesome stuff get pulled in this one. We saw Jeff Hardy jumping off the window ledge of the arena itself, doing a swanton bomb outside the arena. Man, that was a pretty cool spot. I think it should have been done as the finisher because this was a tornado tag team, so no disqualification, falls count anywhere. But instead, the finish ended up being what was it? Sting and Darby Allin finishing it with Sting. Yeah, both those guys finishing it at the same time with the move that got pulled off. It was a little bit sloppy. We had the blade swing Darby against the wall, then throw him down the steps. That was another cool spot in the match. And then we had a questionable finish, like I said, with the gin and juice from Private Party onto Sting, but Sting kind of was supposed to counter it, but he ended up dropping his opponent. And things got a little weird for about 10 seconds with him trying to get him up. It looked like they just couldn't pull it off. And then we had to finish. So I think that should have been a little bit opposite, that the Jeff Hardy Swanton Bomb should have been the finish for that match with that move happening before it. But it was pretty cool. It was I think I didn't count the time limit, but it looks like it was maybe a 10-minute match. Not too bad, but very, very good, solid match. I would probably give it about an A- grading because it did everything it needed to do from high spots. Once again, we seen Sting jump off the ropes, doing a splash onto the outside, beginning of the match. So it's always cool to see Sting doing these things at his age. I know he's wearing the flak jacket to help protect his back and things like that, but it's always cool to see that he still got it out there. So yeah, you guys, that was match number 2. We had Sting, Darby, and the Hardy Boys taking the win there over Private Party and Butcher and the Blade. Let's get into these comments real quick. Holland Oates is here. He says, just wanted to leave a like and say hi. D-Ray, have not watched yet, so can't stay. Well, thank you for popping in. We got Real Gaming. We got Marco, Adrian, James, and that horror dude are all here. Thank you guys for being here. Not going to keep you long, just running through it. Up next, we got another FTR promo setting up next week versus the Gun Club, which I already talked about. So nothing that I'm excited for, but that's the first match of the night that gets announced for next week on Dynamite. So at least we are, shaping up Dynamite pretty early, finding out what's going on the show, because lately we've been finding out a lot of matches at the end of right before the show starts or the day before. So that's cool that they're already setting up for next week. Match number 3, we got Bryan Danielson and Moxley versus the Varsity Blondes. Not much to say here. We already know that Bryan Danielson and Mox going to take the win here. We saw Julia Hart sitting outside the ring on the steps facing away from the match. So they're continuing that with her kind of turning heelish, I guess. Maybe she's going to join Malachi Black, Brody Lee, and that group. That's what it's looking like it's shaping up to be, but they could go a different direction. But it looks like at some point she will turn heel on the Varsity Blondes. Post-match, we get Mox on the mic with an open challenge to anybody that wants to become part of this stable. But it seems like what he's getting at is that, you have to have a match with them. You have to go through the rigors of him, Danielson, and Laura Regal to become part of this stable that they're creating here. So it's going to be very cool to see who is going to come on that stable. But it's looking like next up will be Wheeler Yuta. So we shall see. After that, we got a MJF promo, and it opens up with him talking about Wardlow, but quickly moves on to CM Punk, where he's talking about CM Punk stole the victory from him and that there will be another match coming up and he will be embarrassed and he will attend a funeral and piss on CM Punk's grave. So another great promo from MJF. And then we see Wardlow come out, but he's stopped by security. And then he's back to MJF is back to Wardlow saying that, he's going to get his time. He's going to pay. So that was pretty cool. We finally see MJF back as well. Up next, we had a Best Friends promo where Wheeler Yuta is talking, looking like he's going to be leaving the Best Friends pretty soon, joining Danielson and Moxley. So I'm quite eager to see how that goes. That's going to be pretty cool to see an extra person in that stable. Then up next, we had match number 4, Adam Cole, baby. It looks like the pop for Adam Cole from the crowd is starting to simmer down. I know a lot of people are unhappy with what they're seeing from Adam Cole so far in AEW, saying that he should be set at a higher standard. But we had a pretty good match with Adam Cole and Jay Lethal tonight. We had Red Dragon coming down the ramp very slow during the match, kind of doing what they usually do, weaseling their way into the match and causing havoc. But in the end, we had Adam Cole win, grab the mic, and tell Hangman that he stole the victory and that he will be getting another title shot really soon. Then out comes Hangman, but he gets beat down by Adam Cole, Red Dragon, and out comes Jurassic Express to save the day. So I got the feeling we probably will see another 3-on-3 match with those guys, Adam Cole, Red Dragon versus Hangman and Jurassic Express again. We got Chandler here, says, hey, D-Ray, what's going on? Just figure I stop by and say hi. What is going on, Jerry? So you guys, up next, we got another in-ring promo from Tay Conti and Sammy. Now, this one came off very, very weird. Doesn't seem like too many people was into this in the crowd. We had Sammy talking about, he can't take these bumps forever. What he's doing in the ring, he loves it. He knows the crowd loves it, but he can't do it forever. So it seems like we're getting a little bit of heelish turn from Sammy and Tay Conti. Then out comes Dan Lambert, who comes with the quote of the night saying, calling Sammy Tiny Tim and Tay Conti Lucha Horus. That was so funny. Dan Lambert is very good doing promos, man. You can tell he's grown up watching wrestling, but he's on the MMA side of sports. But man, that guy, he cuts very, very good promos, I must say. I enjoy when he comes out about 95% of the time. So it looks like Tay Conti and Sammy are challenging Paige Van Zant and any opponent, anybody of her choosing from that stable to tag team against them. So we'll be getting that. I expect that to happen at Double or Nothing. I don't see that coming anytime soon, but who knows what AEW had and Tony Khan has up their sleeve. But that was a nice little promo. It started off a little weird. I didn't think the crowd was really into Tay Conti and Sammy. I can't remember the line that Sammy said at the end to Dan Lambert, but it was hilarious when he said something like, you don't know what me and Tay Conti did with LTNT titles when I had it. And it's something about in your mouth. Now it's in your mouth or something. It was hilarious, but that was pretty cool. Like I said, the segment started off a little bit weird, but it ended very good, very entertaining. Then up next, we had match number 5, which was the glorified potty break or snack bar break of Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet. This was the trilogy match. Hopefully the end all be all of this one. We had Layla Hirsch winning via KO. She utilized a piece of the turnbuckle tools to help put the turnbuckles together. Then she continued to assault Red Velvet after the bell. Out comes Statlander, who saves the day. So it looks like we'll be seeing Layla Hirsch and Statlander once again in the ring. I don't know why, but seems like we're going down that road pretty soon. Then up next, we get Jade Cargill promo, which we didn't need as well. Promoting her 30-0 record coming up pretty soon, I believe, on Rampage Friday night. She'll be going for 30-0. She didn't want to talk about who the opponent was. All she wanted to talk about was a celebration that will be happening thereafter. So, a little weird promo. One thing I think AEW could do a better job with Jade, they should have kept her off of Dynamite. I think the best thing to do would have been to have her not on Dynamite, then finally show up as kind of like an invasion. She becomes 30-0 on Rampage, comes over to Dynamite and says something like, so this is where all the rest of you bitches are, and I'm going to take you all out. Something like that. She could have came in, invaded, said something like that, challenge someone, come out, gets her back, gets her some exposure on Dynamite. Not saying she has to be there from week to week. She can still stay on Rampage, but she do some type of invasion on Dynamite to, create a little bit more of a lure to her character. And I feel like they should do the same thing with Hook. At some point, we have to see Hook on Dynamite, whether it's going to be him walking through the backstage, bumping into someone, and someone giving him a look, and him just not even paying attention, just being the cool, shy, quiet guy that he is, just ready to fight. There has to be something with Hook really soon. He can't stay on Rampage forever. He at least needs to make some type of appearance on Dynamite. So hopefully that's coming soon. But we do have him once again on Rampage Friday night. He will be getting his certificate from QT Marshall. So we'll see how far that goes, because I'm quite sure he'll pull off some type of suplex or something again on QT Marshall. Will we have a run in from someone setting up a match for him in the future? We shall see on Friday night. Up next, we had Thunder Rosa's TNT Women's Championship celebration that was rudely interrupted by Vicky Guerrero. She was blindsided by Nyla Rose, which we knew all was coming. So it looks like we'll be getting Thunder Rosa versus Nyla Rose at some point. It hasn't been announced for next week on Dynamite. I assume they might try to save that one a little bit. I seriously doubt they'll save it all the way till May. So I'm not sure which direction they'll go in with Thunder Rosa after Nyla Rose, because she's one of the bigger women's opponents over in AEW. So for them to put her there first is a little bit strange to me, but maybe eventually we'll see a Ruby Soho versus Thunder Rosa at Double or Nothing in May. We shall see. We got Ralph Laney here. He says, what is up? It was a good show tonight. Yes, it was. It was pretty solid, but there was a vast difference between hour 1 and hour 2. He says they needed a legit versus Chris on the turnbuckle on a pole match. Jeff Hardy's off the wall was a great spot. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I think that was definitely moment of the night, I'd say. You hadn't seen that from Jeff Hardy in a while. You knew something crazy had to happen in this match since it was a tornado tag match, no disqualification. You knew there was going to be some great spots, and he definitely pulled it off. So after the Thunder Rosa promo, that brings us to tonight's main event, Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho and Daniel Garcia versus Dark Order's John Silver and Alex Reynolds. Of course, Jericho Appreciation Society comes up with the win via Jericho using Floyd, the Black Bat, on Alex Reynolds. Daniel Garcia gets the KO tap on Reynolds. And we close the night with Jericho Appreciation Society in the middle of the ring. Not the best ending for a main event tonight, but it was okay. I'd rather see a little bit of chaos or some type of cliffhanger from AEW, man. It seems like every week lately we've been ending with JR just saying, all right, have a good night. We'll see you guys either on Rampage or next week on Dynamite. There's no type of cliffhangers like back in the day setting up anything as far as storyline or another match or anything like that. It's just a regular old ending of the night. You know, leave us with some type of cliffhanger. Maybe the match at some point hasn't ended, but the TV time is up and the match is still going. We got to find out what happened on Rampage. They got to give us something to make us tune in next week from these main events. The main event is the main thing on the show that's supposed to leave everybody in awe at the end of the night. But unfortunately, it does not from week to week. And I think that's something AEW really needs to work on. They're very hot out the gate, but things seem to simmer down in a lot of weeks. Unless it's a special edition of the show, things just end not abruptly, but it doesn't leave you wanting more or looking forward to next week's show or Friday night to find out what happened. So I think Tony Khan needs to figure out a better way to start ending these Dynamite shows. But overall, tonight's show was pretty decent. I don't know where this Jericho Appreciation Society goes from here as far as opponents. Of course, there's more Dark Order members they can go up against. I'm hoping at some point maybe it'll be a Moxley Danielson versus maybe a Garcia and Jericho at Double or Nothing. I don't really want to see another full-on like brawl like they've had with the past Inner Circle versus whatever group, the 5-on-5, 4-on-4. I don't want to see that. I'd rather see a 2-man tag team. That's one of my biggest issues with AEW right now is too many of these 4-on-4, 5-on-5 matches that, you know, I want to see 2-on-2, maybe some 3-on-3 sometimes. If they're really bringing in these trio titles, that would be good to see because it makes sense if you're bringing in these titles. But they're cramming so many wrestlers into one match that it becomes a spot fest and it's just utter chaos, hard to follow. And it's like they're just doing it because they got too much talent and they're trying to get them all featured at once. And it's not very smooth, at least not for me. I'm sure there's some people that really love the chaos and all the spots happening, but a lot of times for me, it just doesn't make sense. Ralph says Nyla Rose and Rosa at Double or Nothing. I don't want to see that take that long. We're at March 23rd. Double or Nothing is sometime in May. I don't want to see Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa back and forth for a month and a half, almost 2 months. I don't see that much promo coming out from them enough to keep me invested storyline wise to want to see that match. Maybe 2 weeks from now or something, 3 weeks from now, they could have that match, but a whole month and a half of those two going back and forth, I'm not interested in that at all. Real Gaming says, yes, it was an okay main event. We got Ralph Laney saying Kingston, Santana Ortiz will return and maybe a debut of Hernandez against the Jericho Appreciation Society. Yes, I can definitely see it going that way once Kingston comes back. We got Robzilla saying, what's up? Thank you for being here, Robzilla. We just recapped tonight's AEW Dynamite. I give it a solid B+ showing. I think hour 1 was just way better than hour 2. I can't wait to see the quarter ratings come out probably Friday. We'll see those probably around noon, showing how much the ratings went. I think it'll start off very hot, then it starts to simmer down. I expect a lot lower rating than what we saw last week. I know Jeff Hardy's debut, unfortunately, they lost about 60,000 viewers during that segment, but like 30,000 ended up coming back for the beginning of the Rosa Britt Baker match. But then that one ended up dropping as well. Like 5 minutes into that match, it's like people was just wanting to see, the aesthetics of the match. They just wasn't into it. I know that match started off very, very weird to me, that within about 5 minutes, they started busting each other open. It felt weird. It felt very rushed to get to that spot. But then that match got a little bit better last week between Rosa and Britt. So that one was pretty solid. Robzilla says, Hardy Boys were dope. Yeah, I'm super happy that they got a much bigger pop this week than they got last week. That crowd was red hot to see the Hardy Boys, and they definitely delivered with Jeff Hardy in that spot off the window ledge. If you guys haven't seen that, you definitely need to go check it out. Got Ralph saying, remembering coming weeks will be the Owen Hart tournament to begin on it. Oh, yeah, see, I forgot all about that. They stopped talking about that. They talked about it early for a couple weeks, and then they got away from it. So, yeah, good call out on that one. Always pop when I hear that music. Where the finals happen at Double or Nothing. Yeah, so we definitely got that coming up. That's good to see. And like I said, man, Jade Cargill, we'll see. I am eager to find out who her opponent is to go 30-0 against. I hope it's someone very solid. I hope it's not just a squash match, a 5 to 7 minute match with kind of a nobody, maybe like a Sky Blue or something like that. But I got the feeling that's what it's going to be because they didn't tell us who her opponent is. I would like for it to be somebody with a little bit of a higher name value, maybe like a Karu Shida or something. Not Shida herself, but someone at a higher tier. I don't want it to be just 30-0 because she beat somebody very quickly. I mean, I understand she's still green. They just want to give her some quick reps in the ring, but it needs to be something a little bit stronger to get that 30-0 point and actually have some type of celebration out of it because it looks like that's where they're going with it. Real Gaming 94 says, I was surprised they had Rosa winning the championship. Thought they were going to have Baker keep the title much longer. It wasn't surprising to me. Once she didn't win that belt at Revolution, and they announced that the next Dynamite show, well, St. Patrick's Day or whatever the show name was going to be in San Antonio, right there, you already know, okay, they're saving Rosa for her hometown win. AEW is very big on that, unlike WWE. Every time they go to one of their wrestlers' hometown, they make sure they put the spotlight on them. And I love that about AEW. It doesn't matter who you are in the company, whether you're the upper tier of wrestlers or at the bottom on the dark cards, they are going to feature you in your hometown and show you some love. So I love that about AEW, and they did it with Thunder Rosa. So I'm not surprised. Was it best for business to do it the way they did it? I don't think so. I think Britt Baker deserved to lose that at Revolution and not on TV. I get sometimes you want to give people, that's not buying pay-per-views and things like that. You want to give them something special. You want to have something special happening on TV. But for what Britt Baker did for the company that whole time throughout the pandemic and held that title down, sure, she hasn't been very prominent over the past month and a half. But that time that she held the belt during a downtime for the sport and for the company itself, right after they had a red hot start in that first year, I think she deserved a little bit more, and losing it on a pay-per-view would have made more sense than losing it on free TV. Rob Zilla says that would be crazy if they got somebody like Trish Stratus. I know it probably wouldn't happen, but still would be wild. Yeah, and that's the thing about AEW right now. They really are lacking the superstar power. They got star power, but they don't have anybody that's kind of feels larger than life. I mean, they've got a Jericho, they've got a Moxley, they got a Daniel Bryan, they've got CM Punk, they've got Sting. But it's like all of these people that I just named have been around for a very long time. They're not quite transcending like a Rock, Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair. They just don't really transcend the sport very much and are in the public eye. And that's what AEW needs. They need somebody that's starting to transcend the sport of wrestling. And I know they're really pushing. That's kind of why they put the title on Jade as the first women's title, that TBS title. She has the look, definitely. But the problem is you have a green champion. That never really happens, especially a first-time belt holder, for that wrestler to be green and for us from week to week to say that she's getting better and better. Your champion shouldn't be getting better and better. Your champion should already be better than the rest. And that's why they're holding that title. But I understand it from a look standpoint. It looked good to put the belt on Jade. I get it. Ralph says, even though it wasn't hometown tonight, but JR did mention what happened when Moxley got in the ring. Pillman, since both are from Cincinnati. Yeah, now that one was kind of weird too. I didn't expect the team to go against them being the Varsity Blondes. We hadn't seen what's his name? What's the tag team partner's name? The taller one. Forget his name, but we hadn't seen him in a while, so it's pretty weird seeing the Varsity Blondes come out for that match. It was still a pretty solid match. What it needed to be happened. We got Daniel Bryan, Moxley, another tag team match. Saw some good, solid tag team wrestling from them two, tagging in, tagging out. We had Moxley get on the mic, cut another good promo, giving his props to Lord Regal. He made sure he called him Lord Steven Regal. So that was pretty cool, the throwback name. And then we saw him throw out the challenge, letting anybody know, hey, if you want to join our stable, you got to go through the rigors. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. But like I said, man, solid night tonight. Nothing too big. I didn't see anything that moves forward that I'm super excited about as far as storylines. Like I said, we still got the storyline of Julia Hart. Where is she going with this whole heel turn ever since she got the mist in her eye? And she's been wearing the eye patch. Look like she's turning heel on Varsity Blonde. So that's not super exciting, but I do want to see where it leads, whether it's with Malachi Black in the House of Black stable or not. I want to see where that goes. Not super excited, but I'm curious. And then we got the Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose storyline that's happening. MJF storyline, which I could kind of care less about. I'm about ready to see. I don't know how you guys feel, but you can let me know in the comment section. How do you feel? Do you think it's time for MJF for a title against Hangman? Would you like to see that at Double or Nothing? I know I would. I think we're at that point with MJF now. I really don't want to continue to see him feud with Wardlow. I liked a little bit of a storyline, but I think it's dragging on a little bit too long. I think we need to see him versus Hangman. should MJF win the belt is the question if he was to face Hangman at Double or Nothing. Ralph says, I see maybe a small blow up of a member of Best Friends. Yes, we have that storyline as well. Looks like Wheeler Yuta will be leaving Best Friends pretty soon. Looks like he'll be joining Mox and Danielson at some point. So we'll see where that goes as well. You guys can let me know. Are you super excited about that? Maybe if it was, and I get it because, you know, when they first started this talk, they talked about these lower tier name wrestlers joining in, saying how they love that they're great wrestlers, you know, but they don't have the exposure and they want to get more out of them. So I understand why they're talking about somebody like a Wheeler Yuta instead of somebody with a bigger, stronger name joining the stable. So I like that they're bringing in a nice mix of the lower tier wrestlers. Even though I really wouldn't say Wheeler Yuta's lower tier, he's probably mid tier. Julia Hart looks like a cosplay for Kill Bill. Yeah. Or the governor from Walking Dead. But yeah, you guys, it's been 30 minutes of a wrap up. There's not much more I have off of this Dynamite show. So I think we're going to end it here. That is my first post-show recap of AEW Dynamite. I do plan on doing them again. Hopefully things will get better as I get used to doing these shows. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in live or catching the replay. It's your boy 4K D-Ray. I'm signing off. I'm signing out. Gone.